Click the first link in the description for the best Askreddit content. My 24F boyfriend, 26M, almost got me fired from my job. I won't disclose my job position as I am attempting to stay anonymous, but I work with client files that can contain sensitive information, and since COVID I have been working from home, with a company computer. I got a call a few weeks ago and it was my supervisor as well as HR, and our department manager. They called me into the corporate building of our area to come in and talk, so I knew it was serious. They kept asking me if I knew a Lindsay Parks. For the sake of the story I'll call this person Lindsay Parks. I was confused and said no, and they told me that I had opened her file unauthorized. I'm not allowed to deal with files for people that I know, or open files that I'm not assigned to. I was confused and denied it because I really didn't know this person, so they opened the file to see if there was an associated party on the file that I know. And lo and behold, my boyfriend's name was listed as an associate party. I had to tell them this was my boyfriend, and they said they were going to place me on suspension until they investigate. I got home, and when my boyfriend got home I told him what had happened. He got a bit red in the face, and then admitted that he used Lindsay's number to look up her file and see if there were any updates, as he knew I worked for the company and that she hadn't heard from them and wanted to check out her file. I told him this wasn't okay and I'm probably going to get fired for his carelessness, and who Lindsay was and why he was listed as an associate party on her file. He said a friend, and then went back to saying how it wasn't his fault and that he didn't know I'd get in trouble, and that I shouldn't have made my work password something he'd know. They finished their investigation, and after my boyfriend confessed, I had surprisingly gotten my job back. I have since been working in an empty office at the corporate building because they don't want anything similar happening again. Communication with my boyfriend has been very limited except for if it pertains to our daughter. I feel like he tried gaslighting me, and this situation just is making me feel extremely uneasy. Too long didn't read. My partner went to my work computer, opened a file for a friend, and almost got me fired by doing so. Now I'm working in the corporate building to prevent this from happening again, and our relationship is strained after it feels like he gaslighted me into thinking this was my fault. Lindsay might be an ex or side chick. It's one thing to be an idiot and not understand why using your details to do this is bad. It's a whole other thing when he shrugs and says, basically, you shouldn't have trusted me not to abuse this information. Dump him. Friend ha. And you've never heard of this friend for whom he was willing to risk your career? Clearly not a childhood friend or something. He is at best reckless and a bit senseless, and at worst super manipulative amongst other things. This dude had the nerve to say you shouldn't have made a password he could guess. Are you sure you want to be with this clown? He almost fucked your whole life up and barely gives a shit. How dare you make it so easy for me to destroy your life? At 26 years old, your boyfriend should know that breaking into your company's computer with your password could get you fired. Him blaming you, and him saying that she is a friend, with no further explanation, is all highly suspect. Why was he willing to go to such lengths for just a friend? You are right to go no contact except regarding your daughter, stick to that! Exclamation mark. Also, he blamed it in not by saying the password shouldn't have been something he would know. Nobody. That's on him for breaking in the first place. My boyfriend says I cheated on him by getting a tattoo on my butt. I'm 23, he's 26, together over a year. I have 5 tattoos, my 5th I had the first session for earlier this week. It's on my hip towards my ass. All my other tattoos are in pretty innocent places, 2 on thigh, 1 on back, 1 on foot. My boyfriend isn't really interested in body art and he listens to me talk about what pieces I want, but he's not super actively into it like I am. The piece I'm getting was originally planned to be lower on my thigh, but I talked to my artist and we figured the design flows better on my butt lol. Plus I think it looks sexy and I wanted to do something different and more daring than yet another thigh tat. Anyways, I got home from my first session and showed my BF. He got angry as was like, why'd you get it there? Did you have to take off your underwear for that? Who saw you get that, on and on. He asked why I didn't tell him I was gonna get it there and how long it took to get. My artist is a guy and has done 2 of my other pieces, and he's super professional. I told my BF as much and it wasn't any different than a doctor seeing your body, and it's not like I was naked and someone jamming a needle into your flesh is hardly sexy. My BF still says letting another man see me like that and touch me on my ass is cheating, and I should have asked him or taken him with me, even though the shop only lets in 1 person at a time. He's being hard-headed and it's really frustrating. I don't think what I did should count as cheating, but I'd count to make him feel better about this, especially since I have at least 2 more sessions before it's done. Edit. Okay. I've given up on keeping up with the comments on this monster, it's getting exhausting. Thanks for the support and the insults Reddit, I'm going to bed. Every relationship negotiates their own boundaries for cheating. I wouldn't think professional care nudity is cheating. Tattoos, waxing, doctors, massage, etc. No one is getting any sexual or romantic juice out of it. Tell him that him being upset does not equate you doing something wrong. You can choose whatever professional service for your body you want. Set your hard and soft boundaries. Never give on your hard boundaries. Sounds like my ex. I had obstructive kidney stones and required surgically placed stents to treat them, and he got mad at me because the doctors who did them were males. I was in the ICU, septic, and could have died, and he was there the entire time, but he was mad because the on-call urologist was a male. He then also blew up at me again when they had to be removed. No words for that kind of behavior. Trust me when I tell you it's a huge red flag. Don't ignore it. ETA. I see comments about it being controlling and abusive, and I'll tell you from experience, that's exactly what it is. I ended up being sexually assaulted by this person, and my kids were neglected/abused by him as well. Thankfully I was able to get us out and far away. Not everyone is that lucky. Wait till he hears about the gyno. This thread has run its course. I'm almost wondering if you're dating my ex lol. I got a sternum tattoo and he flipped out on me, accused me of cheating, went around telling his friends that I got a boob tattoo and he was scared I was sleeping with the artist lol. Apparently sternum and ribs are the same thing as boobs. The more you know. Also kept trying to say you wouldn't like it if I got a dick tattoo and ignored me when I said I wouldn't give a single shit if he did because tattoos aren't erotic in the slightest. Edit to clear up any confusion. By tattoos aren't erotic I mean the process of getting tattoos rather than the actual tattoo. And yes, there are people who do find the process sexy or erotic too. But I don't think they're the majority of people. Could be wrong though, I don't know lol. Yeah, nothing gets me going like having a needle jammed into my flesh for several hours and then slathering on cream for weeks while it gets scaly and itchy. Going to the dentist is more erotic lol. I'm jealous of the sternum tattoo, I want one but I'm too self-conscious to take the plunge. How do I, 32F, tell my son, 5 years, that his father isn't safe to be around alone? So I divorced my son's father after it became apparently I was a walking sex doll he could use for booze money. No matter how many times I tried to talk with him, how many times his own family tried, or how many chances I gave him, he never tried to change. He won't admit he has a drinking problem that still persists to this day. After a horrible mistake that could have cost my son's life, drinking and driving, he is no longer allowed to see our son alone, ever. I haven't had full complete custody of our son since the divorce as the judge deemed him unfit. I ex-male, God bless this woman, watches my son overnights a couple nights a week and does his schooling, remote learning. She's a retired teacher. She used to let her son stay the night there until she woke up to find he'd left the stove on after cooking my son sausages for breakfast. When she went to confront him, he was passed out and smelled of alcohol. He's now no longer allowed to stay past 8 p.m. at her house. My son is so very innocent in all of this. He is understandably upset because daddy can't stay anymore, and I simply don't know how to tell him why. I don't want to ruin his relationship with his father, who seems hell-bent on doing that himself, but he needs to know something to try and understand what's going on. I plan on getting him a specialized child therapist, but with COVID right now and him being high risk, I just can't do it at the moment. So until then, any advice at all would be really appreciated. Update: holy crap, I did not expect this to blow up the way it did. I've talked with my son, and told him that daddy is very sick in his head but he loves him very much. I explained it's been like this since before he was born. It got worse when I got pregnant, and that it doesn't mean he loves him any less. For anyone wondering, I hold no ill will towards my ex. I did for a while, I'll admit, but therapy has helped immensely, and while I have no love for him anymore, I do want him to get better for our son. My father was much like this, and unfortunately for me it ended very badly about 10 years ago. Thank you everyone, so much, for all of your help and advice. I might not be able to respond to all of the comments, but I'll read them and appreciate the help. So, my mom is mentally ill and I have custody of my 6-year-old brother. Loves my mom because she's fun and lets him do whatever he wants, but she's just not safe for him to be alone with, so I've had to explain to him that mom's brain is a little different than his brain. I explained to him that her brain doesn't work the way it's supposed to, and right now she's got to get better so she can play with him again. I don't know how long it'll take until she feels better, but in the meantime he can always call her on the phone or video. I explained that she does love him very much and that he's her favorite little boy in the world, but right now she's just got to focus on getting better for him. I personally hate my mother to the core because in reality she's a human pile of shit, but he doesn't need to know that. He'll have his time where he'll figure out how he feels about her himself when he is old enough to understand her behavior. For now he just knows she's sick and trying to get better for him. Well, I was 6 or 7 when I worked out for myself about my mum's drinking and the effect it had on her. So it might be possible to say something along the lines of, when daddy drinks his beers he gets silly and forgets how to look after little boys and keeps them safe. Tell him that his father is very sick, and because of this he can't be around now. You're not lying, and you're putting his condition in a way a child can understand. Thank you, this is the perfect response. I'm so upset, I didn't even think of just telling him the truth in this way. Thank you so much. As a child of a father who chose drugs and had his mother lie about it, please just be honest. I was told all sorts of stories and made up nonsense about my father. I hated nothing more than finding out later in life I didn't know him at all when it was too late. I've seen people say he's sick. Don't say he's sick. Tell your son that while you both love daddy very much, he's just working on some problems. Dad can't come back till he gets his problem solved, and he's working real hard. This would at least prevent him from ever asking if he's still sick when they do interact. This would leave him less worried about his well-being and hopefully a more positive outlook towards him.